Good morning, and welcome to a fresh new week of trading. It is Monday, March 22nd, 2021. It is coming up on 9:17 in the morning. Let's go over the rules of the day. They're pretty much very similar to last Friday. I am still in trader rehab. I've been making a lot of big mistakes lately and just really bad trading. And before I, totally lose everything, I need to back up and refocus. So we are in paper trading. So my first rule, I'm just going to trade like normal because I'm in paper trading. So I'll be trading 1,000 shares as normal, and back off if the trade doesn't look that great. Number 2, the hard stop is required. Number 3, only place an order when a stock presents a setup in the 5-minute chart. I'm looking for bull flags and bear flags. And number 4, only trade between 9:30 and noon. And number 5, don't chase an entry. If I wasn't ready, hey, wait for another setup. So, one quick thing that I've made a change this morning is I've noticed or realized over the weekend that somehow one of my prerequisites for even looking at a stock has been overlooked for quite a while. Used to be that one of my very first requirements that is a stock had to be a low float stock, period. If it was not a low float stock, I didn't even look at it. And back in those days, I was trading very consistently because my patterns require, a breakout or a breakdown. My setups, when I get in or I'm looking to get in, it should be an immediate movement. And a low float stock produces that. And somehow I've gotten away from that requirement. So this morning I went through and I've changed all my scanners to only show me low float stocks. So we're going to see how that goes. And I'm looking at 10 million shares or less of float. So that might be a little tight, but we'll see. We'll play with that over the next couple days. All right. And with those settings in place, my watch list is very small this morning. There's not a lot of big movement today. One of them right here, AESE, is a gapper, but it gapped up, and now pretty much right before I started talking here, she dropped. But we'll be watching it. Another one is EDSA. Hello, there we go. EDSA went up to 750 and now is trading sideways. That may do something for us. We'll see. Another one is DYAI. Again, it jumped up to 1074 momentarily. So looks like she's got some news, something about COVID-19, about vaccines. And those are the 3 that are on my watch list. One of note, just as an interesting thing, look at ODT. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't it have been nice to have been in that for a short, what was that, $15, $14 drop in just a couple minutes? Wow. Yeah. But I'll be staying away from that one today because the move is already done for the short, and if it climbs, I don't think it's going to be a heck of a lot. They've discontinued development of like their main product. So, all right, that's everything I got for now. Market opens in 10 minutes, and I'll bring you back when I have something interesting. All right. All right, first thing this morning here, SNCA. They're just bought. We are just going to do a quick scalp here. Hopefully, if she pops, my stop will be the low of the candle, which is 26. I'm thinking just a small pop up just below 250. Because of this big topping tail and the fact that it went and pulled all the way back to here is not the ideal setup. One of my checks for even looking at a trade is whether it pulls back more than 50% of the original move. So in other words, if you look from here to there, 50% would be about here, and it went down to here. So that just makes it a weaker trade. And stopped out. I moved my stop up with the 9 EMA and got stopped out, and it even jumped on me. Got me out at 224, even though I was up at 226. $110 loss. Like I said, that was not the best setup. It had pulled back too much. And the sad thing about it is that while I was tinkering with this one, ZKIN had a nice jump pullback, and right here is where I should have been setting at 1170 to get in, but instead I was screwing with that other stock, and this one popped and the other one didn't. So, but I mean, the gap on, or the spread on this is horrendous, but it worked. So, well, on to the next one. All right, I have gone short on SPRT. It is frustrating. This thing just will not give me a setup candle. It just pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back. And then right as it was giving me a setup candle, like 30 seconds short of giving me a setup candle, it dropped from 745 to like 703 in one swipe, which would have been what I was waiting for. You know, if this would have hung up in the 730, 720s, then I would have been waiting to get in for the drop. But it just would not give me the setup candle. So I went ahead and hopped in at 701, which is not the greatest spot, to be honest. But, and I'll set my stop if she tries to go up above this candle here, which is 745. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and set my stop. Oops, there we go. I was like, got confused there for a second. Okay, now my target, I really do think that this thing could get back down to $6 pretty easily. I mean, look, it's gapped up from $1.92 to almost $10, and it's rolling over. The news on it is a merger. I mean, which is great news for the company and everything, but I think the move was exaggerated. And the bad news for me is it's coming up on 11 o'clock, and honestly, I hate to be short in stocks around noon, because it seems like a whole nother world of traders come in around noon and they see the action from the day and they're like, oh, this almost went to $10. I missed out. And it starts moving back up again. So I've always had bad luck being short in a stock as it crosses over noon Eastern. But we'll let this play out, see how it does. All right, I'm going to let this one work. I'm going to move it over to another screen because TKAT has given me a setup here. So over what? 3671. I'm going to hop in. Oh, you bastard. Did you just pop? Yep, it just jumped right past me. God damn it. I'm going to go ahead and hop out of this for now. It looks like it may be about to give me a setup candle, so let it go ahead and pull back up. Got another 20 seconds on here. And if I'm wrong, then it can just continue to climb without taking any more money from me. But if she breaks back down below 6.99 or below 7, because the low of this is 7.01, which was my entry. And I'm going to hop in at 6.99. Which is another example of me not waiting for the setup. You know, I shouldn't have hopped in hastily earlier. That was stupid of me. And I knew it when I was pushing the button. FOMO kicked in. All right, see how it plays out. Maybe it'll even give me a little bit better of a setup here. Okay, and there's the drop. It got me back in. And now we let it play out. And we're going to let it play too. My stop's going to be probably a break of the 20. In this case, that's 745. Give it a little bit of room to breathe. That's the second time it's touched the 9 and dropped immediately. So that's a good sign. But it's still finding support. So that's not a good sign. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add to this position and leave my stop in the same spot. If this turns out to be the peak of this recovery, that'll help me, but it won't lose me a whole lot more. tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to flatten my position right here, make some money back. Okay, we're taking a chance on TKAT just because it has been moving a lot. So we're in at 35.65. I'm thinking just $1 pop shouldn't be out of the question from it if it's going to go that way. And I'm going to stop if she drops below 34. And there it is. $2 grand. All right, it is approaching noon, a minute and 14 seconds, and we'll be at noon. So I'm going to call it a day. So let's quickly go over the trades that I did today. There's 4 in total, 3 different stocks. My first one was SNCA here at 951. Basically, this should not have been a trade. I'll tell you that right now. Mainly for 2 reasons. One, she climbed. Yes, it did. It climbed all the way up to 267, all the way from 208. Now that is a 59-cent climb. So 50% of 59 cents is 27 cents. No. Let's just call it 28 cents. So basically, when it climbs like this, it should not pull back more than 50% of the move. And that's more like right here. But it pulled all the way back down to here. So that's one mark against it. I shouldn't have been paying attention to it just because it did that. But 2, look at this topping tail. That is horrendous. I mean, that's almost a third of the move by itself. It spiked up and came back down. So I could pretty much chop that off and not even consider it. So you take those 2 things, and this pullback, and it broke through the 9, but not super bad, and it didn't stay down there. So I ignored that. So I ignored 3 things to make this trade legit. Should not have been in this trade at all. I went in because of the pullback, and the top of this candle, when it broke it, I got in, and of course, bad decision. It immediately turned around and went down, and has been down the rest of the morning. It's still going down. Should not have been in it. The only good thing about this is that I had a stop in place. That's the only solid thing. I lost 11 cents, 1,000 shares, 110 bucks in the hole. That's how I started the day. And that was even after waiting almost an hour for my first trade. So next group of trades is SPRT 707. This took me for a roller coaster ride, because first thing in the morning I was looking at this for a short. It went down, 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 and down, and then it started pulling back, and I was like, okay, cool. So I started watching it. I was hoping for a pullback candle here, the next one over, to be, just below the 9, and then I would have been looking to short it. But she just drove through the averages and then started going up. So I was like, okay. Then on its way back down, it came down and touched the 9 right here, and I was like, okay, this is a good setup for a long position. It started here, climbed all the way up, pulled back to here, touched the 9, ready to go. So I was looking to get in at the break of this candle on the way back up. but she broke down. Once she broke down to here, I called it. I was like, nope, not interested. So when this one went above this one, I wasn't even looking at it for a long position anymore. That saved me there. So saved me here, and then she dropped. And I was like, okay, cool. Back to the short play again. And it went down, 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 down. And this candle, even though it's green, is actually lower than this one by a penny. So still down. This one was my pullback candle. So it came in up here, it went up, touched the 9, danced around for the whole thing, and then 30 seconds before the candle closed, she dropped hard, and that irritated me. So what did I do? I jumped in at a very low position, 701, which is only 6 cents from the bottom of this candle. And then she danced around for a while, and I covered when she popped back up. I didn't like it doing this, and I covered it. So then, again, when she broke the bottom of this, I got back in, shorted it again. And it went down, climbed, and I had a stop set at 751. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm only, 15 cents away from my stop. I went ahead and added to my position, thinking, okay, if this is the high of this climb and it goes back down, I've doubled my position towards the high. Now, if it climbs, I don't lose much more because I'm already close to my stop. Well, the next candle, she went to 750. My stop was set at 751. It was sitting there waiting. Well, and then she touched 750 and dropped like a rock. I was like, yes. But then it didn't do anything. It just sat there and hovered. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take some money back because I was already $210 in the hole on this. And I closed my position, and now I'm only 50 bucks in the hole on it. I was like, okay, that's good. Take some of the money. And good thing because it climbed, and then she dropped. I went ahead, I had an entry setting at 785, or not 685, because I figured if she dropped down, that would be a good spot, as it passed by. And it still hasn't done that. Now, she did climb and then reject it, so it's still looking good for a short, but it's noon, and I'm not messing with it. All right, and the last trade of the day was a risky one, but she paid off, obviously. I looked over, I've had this chart up. This thing irritated the crap out of me earlier. Okay, I watched this thing climb, double top, pull back. The minute I seen this, the candle closed, I saw it, I jumped over here and opened my recording, and I clicked at 3672, which is just above the top of this candle, and the moment I clicked it, it shot through it and left me behind. I was so pissed because that would have been an easy couple dollars. I probably would have taken $1 and walked away, been done for the day. But that left me, and I left it up here, and I watched it consolidate kind of in a little wedge here, and I saw this pullback here and dancing around and a little pop there. It's been doing little pops here and there. So I saw this one. We're still above the 9 here, and I said, I hopped over, and if it was going to break the high of this, I was going to grab it. And I did. I got in right above the high of this. Well, actually, I got it just before it. I'm not sure how I got that position, to be honest. I got it at 36 or 35.65. Yeah. And then I just immediately set my target $1 up and waited, and she popped to 37 quickly. And I was in and out of that in a minute, is what that took. So it took me 1 minute, $2,000. Good thing. Super risky trade. My stop is at 34, but it hit my target, and then immediately the next candle, she dropped like a rock and is still going down. So I don't know if that was a super smart play. Well, I know it wasn't super smart. Could have bit me, but I'll take it. I shouldn't be happy about this because that was no setup at all, really. Just playing these pops that it's been doing. And I mean, the only good thing I can say about it is I did have a stop in place. It probably should have been higher. Probably should have been the low of these candles because it's been bottoming on these, for 20 minutes. And 25 if you count this one. But it should have been at 34.30, 34.25, somewhere right in there. So, but paid off. So let's summarize the day. All right, and here's a summary of the day. Started out $110 in the hole, then actually went $210 more in the hole on SPRT, but then with another trade, dug myself out of that hole a little bit. Now I was only $50 in the hole. So at this point, I was $160 in the hole. And then in one minute trade with TKAT, added another $2,000 to the total, and it puts me $1,800 up for the day. Again, this is paper trading, so that's not real money in my pocket, unfortunately. But this is practice. I'm trying to get back into my pattern, into my routine. And unfortunately, this is not the ideal day. There were actually a couple other trades that I missed while I was messing around with the trades I should not have been in. So this should have been an easy, $300 to $500 day with legit trades, but instead I relied on a risky trade to get me out of the hole. Now, good news about all this is that I did, follow my, risk aversion techniques here. I had my stops in place. I took the loss. I took 2 losses here, but ended up better off than I started. So, my discipline is getting better with, taking losses when needed. So that's a positive. All right, we're going to close this out and get the video up. See y'all tomorrow.